Fresh off the road from Berkeley, SportSCene is back.
We were coming home, and now it's time for homecoming. SportSCene starts now. Welcome to the lovely Annenberg Media Center. I'm Jackson Safon.
And I'm Kristen Lago. USC is gearing up for another Pac-12 game this week as they come home to the Coliseum on Saturday to face the Arizona Wildcats. The Trojans will need another victory to keep their Pac-12 championship hopes alive.
Yep, USC will definitely need to bring their A game on Saturday against Arizona, something they definitely did last week while up in Berkeley. Kristen, what were your takeaways from the game against Cal?
Well, I think you have to start with the defense on this one. The key to fending off Cal was to get quarterback Jared Goff out of sync, and I think the Trojans definitely did that this weekend. He gave up 2 interceptions, one that Adoree Jackson returned for a 46-yard touchdown, and the second, we saw Kevon Seymour early in the fourth quarter who picked him off again. So USC's defense has now forced 6 interceptions in the last 2 games, and that's among top-tier quarterbacks. So I think the defense really kept the momentum alive and was able to shake up what was the second best offense in the Pac-12.
Yeah, along with putting pressure on Goff and the cornerback stepping up, I thought the Trojan defense did a great job stopping the run. What I thought the game came down to on offense was USC's improved efficiency. They were much more committed to the run game, rushing the ball in 50 of 73 plays. While Cody didn't put up the gaudy stats we're necessarily used to, he was very accurate and efficient, completing over 80% of his passes. This is definitely due in part to Cody, but also to the offensive line's much improved play from the past week. Getting Chad Wheeler back was a big boost, and I was really impressed with the way the group stepped up as a whole.
Yeah, and coming off that impressive win, the Trojans will have to keep that going. They'll have home field advantage this week as they take on Arizona. But looking to Saturday's game, what are your keys to a victory this weekend?
Well, for me, the first is stopping Arizona's running game, or at least trying to slow them down. Arizona is second in the conference in total rushing yards with 265 per game. Running backs Nick Wilson and Jared Baker should be a focus for the USC defense. As far as the Trojan offense, it comes back down to protecting Cody, just like the game against Cal. With Juju out, there's going to be a ton of pressure on the new Trojan receivers to get open, and giving Cody time in the pocket will allow that to happen.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on those 2 points, Jackson. I think the keys, like you said, coming to win this game against Arizona are continuing the run game, but also protecting the pass rush against the Arizona Wildcats. But I also think that in addition to that, the Wildcats are coming off of their worst offensive performance yet. They suffered this humiliating loss last week. It was 49-3. Against the Huskies. So this week, you can't really count them. I don't think you can count them out. You can't count out quarterback Anu Solomon. They're going to be simplifying their game so that Solomon can complete quicker drives and he can get back into his rhythm. So I think the Trojans will definitely have to be wary of that.
Yeah, USC did a great job against Utah's mobile quarterback Travis Wilson, so I expect the game plan to be similar to that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that one. And we spoke to interim head coach Clay Helton about what the Trojans must do to prepare for Saturday's game.
We're facing Arizona, who I think is one of the premier run/RPO teams, run-pass option teams. They do a great job of running for about 265 a game and then being able to pull the ball and get the ball out in space or quick game throws. They do it as good as anybody in the country. So we got a lot of work on that today.
Like we touched on earlier, the Trojans will need to stop the run and protect their quarterback to succeed against Arizona on Saturday.
I'm here at the monitor now with Paolo Uggetti to compare the 2 high-powered running games that will be on the field on Saturday. Thanks for joining me, Paolo. First, let's talk about the USC running backs. The 3-headed monster of Ronald Jones, Trey Madden, and Justin Davis has obviously been dynamic this season, as USC is 5th in the conference in yards per rush. But they are towards the bottom of the conference in total yards, which shows that they probably should get more carries. But Paolo, what are the different strengths of the 3 USC running backs, and how do they complement each other?
Well, it's been a tough kind of thing to balance for USC. They have 3 very talented running backs, and they've had to really learn as they go about how to use them each separately. We've seen that Trey Madden has really gotten used in the short yardage game because he's kind of that big physical running back that Coach Helton feels like he can trust on third downs. As we saw against Cal, they were facing a 3rd and 1, a critical down, and Trey Madden was able to get that first down. So he's kind of that power back mentality. Then we got Ronald Jones, who is by far the most explosive running back in the group. Everybody wants him to get more carries. There's no reason why he shouldn't be getting more carries. As we can see, he's averaging 7.6 yards per carry, which is top 3 in the Pac-12. He's one of the most explosive running backs in the country, I would say, and he's just a freshman. So as he's coming along, USC has been trying to give him more carries, but he's also nursing a knee injury that Trey Madden's also nursing, and that's why Justin Davis has also been very important to the team. because when these guys are hurting a little bit, Justin Davis has come in, and he's been kind of the consistent back for the team, even though he's not putting as many yards as the other guys.
Obviously, it's nice when Justin Davis is the third best running back on your team. But now let's take a look at the Arizona backs. They're sort of a two-headed monster with Nick Wilson and Jared Baker, and also their quarterback, running back dual threat, Randall. But tell me what makes these two guys so special.
Well, I think, as we've seen, Arizona has really struggled offensively in these past 3 games. They only put up 3 points against Washington. They could not score in the red zone. They were just a bad showing for them overall offensively. But in this season, what's really been one of their bright spots has been their running game. Jared Baker and Nick Wilson have been putting up 5.7 and 6.2 yards per carry, which is nothing to shrug at. I mean, those are great numbers, even for an offense that is struggling. They haven't been able to get into the end zone as much, so that's something that they really need to improve on. But as far as in this game against USC, they can really use these 2 running backs with the quarterback New Solomon kind of struggling a little bit. But one guy I definitely think we should like you mentioned, is Gerard Randall, who's kind of their quarterback running back dual threat option. He already has over 600 yards of total rushing yardage, and he's averaging over 9 yards a carry, which is tops in the Pac-12. So I think if Arizona wants any chance to win this game against USC on Saturday, they'll definitely need to rely on the running game a lot.
No doubt. And Randall got most of his playing time and accumulated most of his stats when Solomon was out, but he's still obviously a very dynamic player to look out for. Now, it's going to come down to the 2 rushing defenses, as whichever defense can step up will probably control the game defensively. So whether is it USC or Arizona, which defense has a better chance?
Well, when looking at USC's defense, the problem that they had early on was stopping the run game. They were not able to stop the run game at all. But as we've seen throughout the past few games, they've really improved on that front, and they really kind of rallied around the defensive front and the linebackers to really stop the run. We saw against Cal, they didn't let them have any semblance of a running game, even though they have 2 really strong running backs. With Devontae Booker in Utah, they were able to stop the run. So they've clearly gotten better as the games have progressed. I think USC has the talent there to stop this, to continue this kind of run they've been going on at stopping the run. Coach Helton said that they'll definitely need to be physical. That's something that he's been preaching a lot over the past few weeks, being physical, and they've really taken up that challenge and done so. So from that end, I think USC's defense is more prepped to stop the run, but Arizona's defense, they're like we pointed out, they have 3 big and talented running backs to deal with, so it'll be interesting to see how that develops as well.
No doubt. I think the game plan that USC incorporated against Utah with the mobile quarterback and the powerful running back is definitely one they're going to model, try to use similarly against the Arizona offense. So now, give me a little Paolo's prediction. Who's going to come out on top for this game?
Well, last week I definitely got that one right. I picked USC over Cal. Finally,
no doubt.
It paid off. This week, I think if Arizona somehow wins, that will be a huge upset. Nobody's expecting Arizona to win. Their offense has been struggling. But Coach Helton said that, they need to watch for those things because Arizona's still a very talented team when you look at them. But I think USC in the end will pull it out. I'm going to say they'll put up a lot of points and they'll be able to stop the Arizona run game like we mentioned. So I'll say 41-24 USC.
Awesome. Thanks, Paolo. Now we're going to send it over to Jody for a little special on the homecoming week.
It's homecoming week, so Trojans should get ready to jump back in time for a week of nostalgia with #TBTUSC. Tonight, from 7 to 9, the Trojan Knights will be hosting a scavenger hunt around campus. Wednesday night, from 5 to 9, there will be float decorating at McCarthy Quad. The most creative float decorators will win free pizza cards from Pizza Studio. Thursday night will be the most festive night of the week. Students will get to live La Vida Loca in McCarthy Quad from 8 to 10 at the Homecoming Carnival and Parade. There will be a roller rink with a disco ball, throwback tunes, and free skate rentals. The annual float parade will begin at 7:45 and lead to the Homecoming Carnival featuring the Trojan Marching Band and various USC clubs. The carnival will be free for students with an ID. The high point of the week will be the game against Arizona Wildcats at 7:30 at the Coliseum. Special Project Coordinator Cheyenne Chung spoke about the focus on the students for this year's homecoming.
We really wanted to make it special for students because in the past, homecoming really hasn't been as emphasized as other events on campus, but it's, an important part of USC's history, and we thought this year would be a great year to bring it back. And in our brainstorming, we decided that the roller rink would be a really cool focal point of it, and then building around that, we decided it's kind of vintagey and throwback, and so there's a lot of different aspects of TBT USC that we could play off of.
With USC throwing it back, homecoming will be an enjoyable week for everyone in the Trojan family.
I'm here now with redshirt junior offensive lineman Zach Banner. Thanks for coming on the show today, Zach.
Thanks, Jackson.
So Zach, there's obviously been a lot of injuries to the offensive line with Max, Toa, and Chad, who's just recently come back. How was all the rotation and some of the leadership guys like Max forced more of a leadership role on you?
Yeah, with Max, when Max had a season-ending injury, that was kind of hard as he's one of my best friends on the team, and also just really hard, obviously, in the absence of him on the football team, in the absence of him on the offensive line. I really think that I really want to applaud the rest of the guys on the team and kind of give them the credit, especially on the offensive line, for stepping up and filling in positions like Khalil Rogers. Toa had a great game against Notre Dame. It's sad that he got hurt also, but Khalil Rogers is stepping up. 2 guards, Vianney and Damian, and also Chris Brown gets in the rotation. Those 3 have really been killing it. And Chad, Chad's kind of the quiet, hippie type guy, and but he's been killing it too. And it's just, I'm really proud of them. Just kind of, like you said, kind of put a lot on me, but it's okay. I'm fine with that. I'm ready for that. It's my 4th year. I'm loving life right now, man. We're winning football games.
Absolutely. So with the rotation, like we've been talking about, you right tackle is your standard, but you moved a little bit to left tackle. Which do you prefer?
Either or. I think that I'm versatile. I think I can play left tackle in the National Football League one day. They just want me and Chad to be on the field at the same time, and Chad's been playing left, his whole career, and I'm able to play both. So both of us being on the field, it helps. I didn't really have any setbacks at all, actually, when I played left too. So, I feel like I did a well job at that, and it's okay. I'm good with it.
Right. And so you played basketball in high school, star point guard for your team.
Yeah, right.
So you made it to the state tournament all 4 years. You won it your junior year. Do you think any of those skills have translated, the footwork-wise, to your football career?
Definitely. The post work and everything that I used to do. I was always, not the tallest guy, being 6'9", but I was definitely always the biggest because I was a football player. But, definitely, I could put the moves and the touch on them a little bit. So the footwork definitely translated. A lot of the spins and stuff that we're doing, pass rushers hate it. So that's awesome.
And so, as we talked about before, I'm from Washington as well.
Right, Redmond. Shout out to Redmond.
Shout out to Redmond.
Yep.
So what's it like? Do you have a lot of connection? Do you stay true to your home? I know you have the FOE on the eye black. So what's your connection back home still?
Love Tacoma. I miss Tacoma a lot. Tacoma, Seattle area, Redmond too. It's peaceful. The people are great people. I think the best part about it is just having seasons. You know what I mean? You guys have 365 days of sun out here. It's like, we have. I miss the rain. I really do.
I completely agree.
You know what I'm saying? And it's I don't know, man. It's different. But obviously I miss my family a lot. And I just miss the people back home.
Yeah, going up to Cal was a refreshing change on the.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
It was cooling down a little bit.
Beautiful, yeah.
And so you're the kind of guy who likes to talk a lot to the fans and to the media, but what about on the field? Do you trash talk a lot on the field during the game?
Surprisingly not. Really not, because there's a lot of mental stuff that you have to do in the offensive line. You have to break down defenses and fronts. And I'm a really communicative guy to my team, to my offensive line, getting play calls, talking to them and stuff like that. I really don't have time to worry about them. And it's crazy because sometimes they try to bicker at me, trying to get me to do that. But I just let it play. And when I put them on their back, you laugh at them.
No doubt. And so one thing I've been curious about is I know you have family from the Mariana Islands and stuff, but I've been wondering, why do you carry the Guam flag after every game?
So my mom's from Guam. She's Chamorro, and the people back on Guam, if I'm blessed enough to go to the National Football League one day, I'll be the first Chamorro to ever go to the National Football League, and that's really big back home. And it's crazy because this last summer, about June, went back to my grandfather's funeral. He just passed away, my mom's dad, and he had a lot of pride. I was one of his first grandchildren to go to college and do big things for the family and put him on, the spotlight. And I just took it upon myself to represent the whole island because, went back there and there's a lot of people struggling back there. It gives kids hope. It gives them, a future to look forward to because, it's not just the fortunate that get to be in this position I'm in. You know what I mean? I didn't have a lot growing up, and I just want to be able to show them that, I could do that. So the Guam flag, people love it back home. I'm representing, and they see the pictures. They watch us play, and the whole island's of USC fans right now, so it's good.
That's awesome to hear. Well, thanks for coming, Zach. This was Tacoma, Washington native offensive lineman Zach Banner, and you can catch Zach and the rest of the Trojans at the Coliseum on Saturday for their battle against Arizona.
The USC women's volleyball team was dealt their first loss of the season this weekend by the number 5 Washington Huskies, but the women of Troy did bounce back against the Washington State Cougars in 5 sets on Sunday. I'm joined now by Keely Yor to break down one of the Trojans' most recent games. Thanks for being here, Keely.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, so let's get right into it with our first clip.
Yep.
So we slowed down the video for you guys so you can see the play clear. Ford passes the ball to the setter, Pizza Segola. Pizza Segola sets the ball to Ford, and Ford gets the kill. All right, so let's break that play down. So we have the play here right now, and Pizza Segola runs in from the back row. It's actually a really athletic play because not only is she running in, she actually jump sets the ball because the ball's trajectory is going to go in the net. So she saves the ball from going over the net, and she actually saves herself from netting, as you can see her back's curve right there. But she sees that the middle blocker hasn't moved yet on the block. Part of that is because the middle blocker is going, for USC, is going through her approach. So by doing that, she sets the ball. If we go to our next slide, she sets the ball, and if you look at Wazoo's middle blocker, she's actually late on the block. She's actually overcompensating for it by stretching out, and by doing so, Ford sees that, and she gets the kill that way.
All right, so let's take a look at the play in full speed.
So they get the serve, Ford passes it, Pizza Segola sets it, and Ford gets the kill.
Yeah, and I know Ford has been a really big asset to the team this year, and in their most recent game, she actually had 8 kills and 4 digs, so definitely a huge asset to the Trojans. But let's get right into it. Let's go to the next play.
Okay, so USC gets the serve, new setter, Bailey Johnson. Johnson sets the ball. She actually back sets it to Ford. Ford hits the ball, but is triple blocked. She picks up the ball again. Johnson runs in, sets the ball to the opposite, Abercrombie, and Abercrombie gets the kill. So let's break that down on the board. Okay, so we have the new setter, Johnson. She runs in. She's playing up front, so she doesn't have as much of a run, but she runs over, back sets the ball to Ford, and Ford actually has a triple block here, and so she sees that. And after the triple block, she picks up, Ford passes the ball back. Johnson actually runs back in after setting the ball over here. She actually runs all the way back in, and Johnson actually made a smart call right here because the triple block is still getting ready to set up the block again, and they're actually not ready. If you look at Wazoo's outside hitter, she's not set up yet, and Johnson sees that, and she sets it to Abercrombie. And Abercrombie, also good vision on the court. She sees that the outside hitter hasn't fully closed the block. So she actually has a line shot down the line. And you can actually see that in the kill. She gets the kill down the line.
Yeah, let's take a look at it in full speed to really understand that.
So they get the serve. Ford passes the ball. Johnson sets the ball, gets the hit, but she gets it back up. Johnson sets the ball to Abercrombie, and Abercrombie gets the kill down the line.
Yeah, you definitely get a deeper understanding for the volleyball game just by breaking it down and then watching it again in full speed.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's going to wrap it up for us in our volleyball breakdown. Now let's toss it over to Haley to light the torch.
Thanks, Kristen. The weather may be cooling off, but things are heating up for USC sports. It's time to light the torch. Starting off with golf, both the #1 ranked women's team and the #3 ranked men's team are competing in the inaugural East Lake Cup. The competitive event features all 8 2015 championship semifinalists. The action is still going on in Atlanta, and severe rain has postponed play, but the women of Troy are leading their match against Duke 3-1. And on the men's side of the competition, USC is leading LSU. Both matches are still underway. Heading to the pitch now, the #14 women of Troy went 500 for the weekend. The team suffered a defeat at the hands of #3 Stanford 0-1 Thursday before taking on Cal across the bay. The Trojans were led by a single goal by sophomore midfielder Sydney Slodek en route to a 1-0 victory over the #20 ranked Golden Bears. The shutout was the 9th of the season for goalkeeper Sammy Jo Prudhomme. The women of Troy will be back in action Friday in Westwood when they face the Bruins in an always intense crosstown showdown. And last but certainly not least, we have the women's tennis team gearing up for tournament play this weekend across the country. The team will be heading to the coast this weekend for the 3-day Kramer Club Intercollegiate in Palos Verdes. However, not all of the team will be there. Gabby Smith and her partner Juju Almos will be heading to the Big Apple to play in a tournament this weekend.
That is National Indoors in New York City, and we play at the indoor courts where they play the U.S. Open, so it's a pretty sweet venue. And it's the top teams, people who won regionals get into that tournament. And then we didn't win regionals, but we got an automatic bid since we won the Oracle, so I'm pretty excited.
Good luck this weekend, Gabby. Well, the torch may be lit, but things will continue getting hotter around campus for our winter sports as men's basketball will open their season hosting the University of San Diego at the Galen Center on Thursday night. Now to Alexa for all the top social media posts of the week.
The Weekender is a tradition here for students at USC. Who doesn't want to catch one more SC football game each season? People took to social media to share, so let's check it out. @Matma tweeted, "When your flight breaks out into the fight song, I really wish I was on that flight. Trojan spirit is alive and well no matter where the Trojans go." @Moira Maria tweeted, "The Cal Weekender justified that I go to the best school in the world, and I couldn't agree more." @Chad McDurn captioned a picture of Trojan fans, "Win for USC, fight on," and what a great win it was. The Weekender was a fun way for Trojans to celebrate a fabulous win and the never-ending Trojan pride. I can't wait for next year. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Alexa. USC may have 21 NCAA sports of their own, but what about the other sports that take place on campus? For one, the Ultimate Frisbee team. SportScene's Jody Sullivan is bringing us an inside look at the USC women's Ultimate Frisbee team.
Frisbee is a mix of football, soccer, and basketball. The added twist is, of course, handling the Frisbee. The uniqueness of the sport is what makes it fun for the team.
The way I describe it is like, Ultimate's kind of dorky, like it's kind of weird, you know, like people don't usually play it because they think it's like, oh, it's really cool.
The players on the women's Ultimate Frisbee team really embrace the weirdness of the sport and let that define their team's personality.
The people are great. It's just I know I can be myself around them, they can be themselves around me, and so it's just a great community to be in.
While the team is one big family, uniqueness is the trend throughout them and their sport.
So there's something called spirit of the game. So it's a little bit different than like other sports where you have a referee and you can kind of like get away with things that like maybe aren't fair. But here, like everything's fair because it's all done by the players. It's such a unique thing where it's not like who can get away with what. It's based on the best team winning because they were able to put forth the best game possible.
To get a closer feel of the game, we strapped a camera on a player during their scrimmage. Games begin with a pull, which is like a kickoff in football. After catching the disc, a player has 10 seconds to pivot and throw to a teammate. The defense can take control after an interception, a blocked pass, or a drop. Just like in football, the team that gets into the end zone the most wins.
If we're on campus throwing or like anything, like we're all about, like all of us, most of us start in college, so none of us come in be like super good at this sport. So we're always down to like teach you, have fun, like come play IM. Yeah, it's a blast.
Thanks, Jody. While USC fans were up at the Weekender, the Trojan mascot had fun supporting Trojan golf teams down in Atlanta. The men's and women's golf teams were both in Atlanta for a tournament, and they really appreciated the support they got from the Trojan mascot. Mascots from different schools across the country gathered in Atlanta, but I think we all know who the best mascot in the land is. Well, that's all we've got for you today. Thanks for joining us. Make sure to tune in next week as USC football travels to face Colorado.
And men and women's basketball prepare for their season opener. Happy homecoming, everyone.